Test, test.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike Johnson. I'm the Community and Economic Development Director for the city. I also act as the Administrative Hearing Officer for these types of hearings. We'll go ahead and convene our June 4th, 2025 administrative hearing. We have two business items on the agenda today, both for fence height extension requests. We'll consider each one in its entirety before moving on to the next one. That will be a staff overview, questions by myself to staff, and then any statements by the applicant if they'd like to share anything or clarify any more details, and then public comment before moving into final action on each one. Following the agenda here, we'll start with project one or item 1.1, which is project CUP 25007. This is a request from Cameron and Jane Archibald for approval to construct an 8-foot fence along the east property line at 7621 Primavera Court. We'll turn it over to staff to provide a quick overview.
Okay, CUP number CUP-25-007, applicant Cameron and Jen Archibald, and the property owner is the same, and the request is conditional use wall height extension, location 7621 South Primavera Court. So this applicant is proposing to construct an 8-foot fence along to the east property line. The increased fence height is requested due to the property is located adjacent to the Wasatch Boulevard and across the street from the Ferguson Park, which result in high traffic and the high noise level. And the proposed fence made by concrete material is intended to enhance privacy and provide additional noise reducing for the applicant. For the picture on the left-hand side is the exceeding fence, just like a 6-foot high temporary construction chain link fence. And the proposed fence, the applicant tried to build an 8-foot high concrete materials one. And this proposed fence formats will increase noise reducing and privacy. For the fence code, the maximum height allows 8-foot fence in any zone as a conditional use and up to 12 feet as a conditional use with the neighbor's consents. For this project's proposed height, the applicant only requests only 8 foot high, so neighbor consent form was not required. For the public comment, since we sent out the public notice, we received one kind of like a general public comment, not support for each project, but just kind of talk about the fencing code, and those comment already forward to the hearing officer. For the staff analyzed, the staff find increased fence height proposed by this applicant to be a reasonable privacy enhancement and increase and noise reduce. For the recommended conditional approval, first, a building permit and all necessary inspections should be obtained and complete. Second, the building permit will clear state material design and should not exceed the total height of 8 foot from the exceeding grade.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Is the applicant for this item here? Would you like to add anything? Come on up if you would. Okay, perfect. Thanks so much for being here. I will go. I don't have any additional questions on this one, so at this time I'll open this specific item up for public comment. If there's anyone here who would like to comment on this application, you may come to the microphone and do that. Just state your name, and then comments are limited to 3 minutes. Any comments on this one? Seeing no takers on that, we'll close the public hearing for this project. Just given the location of this lot and the option to use this request process, adjacency to Wasatch Boulevard certainly seems like a qualifying impact to support the approval of a slightly higher fence. So I will go ahead then and move to approve item CUP 25007 pursuant to the conditions of approval and findings outlined in the item staff report dated June 4th, 2025. So that one will be considered formally approved, and then you can work with staff to finish out that building permit. So thank you. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on to item 1.2. This is also a fence height request to construct an 8-foot fence at 2450 East Bengal Bend Cove. The applicant for this item is Elite Outdoor Pro on behalf of James Dodson. So again, we'll invite staff up to give an overview and proceed there.
Project number CUP-25-008, applicant is Ellen Outdoor Port, and property owner is James Dodson, and requires the conditional use wall height extension, location 2450 Bengal Boulevard Cove. So the applicant is proposing to construct an 8-foot fence along the west and the south property lines. The increased height is request to replace and upgrade the exceeding 6-foot chain link fence, which the applicant feel does not provide the adequate privacy for the property. And the proposed vinyl fence is intended to enhance the privacy and is inconsistent with the exceeding 8-foot fence on the adjacent properties. So on the left-hand side pictures, you can see that now they still have the 6-foot high chain link fence, the old one. And the right-hand pictures, proposed fence is the 8-foot fence, vinyl fence. And this one can help provide more privacy and also match the neighbor's properties. For the fence codes, the maximum height allowed is 8-foot fence in any zone as a conditional use and up to 12 feet as a conditional use with neighbor's consents. For this application, the proposed fence height only 8 foot high, so neighbor consent was not required. Same thing for the public comment. We received one journal comment for the fence height, but not for the specific project, and the comment already forward to the hearing officer. Sorry, let me change this one. Yep. Okay. So staff found the increase the fence height proposed by this application to be a reasonable privacy enhancements. And recommendation of the conditional approval is a building permit and all necessary inspections should be obtained and complete. Second, the building permit will clear statement of material, design, and should not exceed the total height of the 8 foot from the exceeding grade.
Thank you, staff. Is the applicant for this one present? Come on up. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I mean,
Okay.
we're, just our neighbor to the south, the wooden fence that was in the picture that had blown down due to the winds. And after speaking with that resident, she was like, would you just help me put it back up? I'm like, hey, I got a better solution. We're
Sure.
trying to do this. And she's all for it.
Okay.
And was accepting of everything that's been going on and ready to move forward with this.
Okay.
It was just getting some of the building permit documents to finalize all this.
Okay. So on the outline, it looks like it's just kind of the back of your house and then kind of cutting across, so it encloses your backyard.
Yes.
Is there other fencing beyond that, like at 6 foot or below?
Can we pull up sorry.
Just the aerial image. Sorry. Thanks, Maverick.
That one right there.
Yeah, that one's good.
So the area in blue
Mhm.
is the only 8-foot section.
Yep.
The portion that's going to continue out to the road is going to be 6 foot. So we're just going to transition due to requirements of the city to maintain a 6 foot. Will continue from that point of the corner there out to the existing road.
Okay. And how about east on the south property line, east of the blue line to the right? Is that a fence as well
So
in red?
that's all existing.
Okay. 6 feet.
So we have 8 feet on the south end that the neighbor has, and then mine kind of does a transition
Okay.
from 8 to 6 to 4 in my front yard.
Gotcha. Okay. And then I noticed in one of the photos, there's some like plywood planks.
That's been moved.
Okay.
It was just kind of as a barrier.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Well, great. Well, thank you. I think that's all the questions I had for you. Appreciate that. We'll go ahead and open it up to public comment now. If you'd like to make comment, state your name into the microphone, and then again, we'll be limited to 3 minutes. We'll open that up now.
My name is Betsy Romney. I'm on the west, so I share the property line with the 8-foot fence, the proposed which I'm totally, I think this is great. And my question is, what does there's no existing survey on record. And with the desire for a hot tub right up against the fence with the border, my concern is what is protocol for the placement of that fence?
Sure.
And is there setback? Is it just arbitrary? Does it matter where the fence goes?
Okay.
Is that something
Appreciate
you
it.
can
I'll address that after we get through all the public comments, but thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Any other public comments on this one? Anyone else here to make public comment before then?
Curtis Priest. I'm a neighbor to the north of this property. I'm just in support of it 100%. I think it'll enhance not only the applicant's property, but the entire neighborhood with the new fence, matching fence, by the way. And I totally agree with adding the 8-foot extension for privacy and also lights. He's got 2 double-story homes on 2 sides of his property. And anytime you have that with a single home, there's a lot of privacy loss and extra lighting that comes into the backyard of his property. So just here in support of that.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, if you had an update on the property line, come on back up. We will go ahead then and close the public hearing portion of this. Go ahead.
So yes, I wish my contractor was supposed to be here for this. The at this point, like the hot tub is like down the road. The concrete that's going to be poured back there is sloping away from the property line. There's proper setbacks, so the concrete can be poured right up against the fence, but the placement of that hot tub, if eventually it does happen, would be 3 feet off the fence on every side. And it's the grade of it is going to be sloped to the middle and out towards the north end of my property. So any drainage issues will not be an issue. It's already been discussed with my contractor on what we're going to do, how we're going to slope it, and how, if any drainage issues come into play, it will
Okay.
be maintained and in my property.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Procedurally, from the city standpoint, the fence itself will require a building permit, which will require a site plan. If the site plan shows that the fence will be, on the applicant's property, there will be an expectation that they ensure that if there's any dispute over that and enforcement gets involved, then the city can, require survey, grade, analysis and verification. So the expectation is a fence cannot be built to extend onto anyone else's property. The obligation will be to make sure it's solely on their property. And then to the applicant's point, any future work, some of that will require a building permit as well, but regardless, creating a drainage issue where you're discharging, water or runoff onto an adjacent property violates city code. So, that there's a code that prohibits that as well. So they will be expected to abide by that. Okay. Sure, come on up.
With regards to the fence that was there, so prior to us moving into this home almost 19 years ago, there was a wood fence on the property line that was worn down, broken. We took it down and replaced it with a chain link in the exact same spot on the property line. And that's exactly where this vinyl is going, the exact same spot where the chain link. So we're not impeding on any square footage on yards or anything. It is going up exactly where the old one was,
Okay.
which was based upon property line 25 plus years ago.
Okay.
So.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Yep.
Okay, so after review and public input, and I appreciate those attending, clarification by the applicant, I do find that this is a reasonable application of this ordinance process. I will again clarify the scope of this review is only for that blue portion and only for the portion of the fence that, it's extending from 6 to 8 feet. If they built a 6-foot fence there today, they could go do that. No permits required. So the scope of this review is solely on the extension of 2 feet on that fence where it's highlighted in blue. So based on that, I will move to approve item CUP 25008 pursuant to the findings and conditions of approval outlined in the staff report dated June 4th, 2025. Again, those conditions require the applicant to submit a building permit process, have the fence inspected appropriately, and finish it out that way. So now that represents approval of both requests that will now move to building permit stage. So thank you everyone for being here today. The only item left is the consent agenda, which is approval of today's minutes following the procedure outlined on the printed agenda. So I will move to approve the consent agenda in item 2.1 pursuant to those written instructions. And with that, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.